I'm Harry Knowles of Ain't It Cool News. We've seen a lot of stuff in Hall H today. I was out there with y'all watching Tron. There's just amazing stuff that's been out there. You've seen a lot of CG. You've seen a lot of 3D. Aren't you hungry for a movie that makes you want to hit the gym? Makes you want to be a real man? How many real men do we have in the audience? Yeah, I don't think so. I think all the real men are about to come up here. I'm going to be representing estrogen on the stage. You're not going to find any of that all the way down these blue seats here. It's going to be amazing. This is an old school badass movie. This is the sort of thing where it's about men sweating, it's about men getting hurt making the movie because they put 125% into it. And this is the sort of thing that made us love all the people that are in this film. And that's fantastic. That just doesn't happen very often. One of the things that I love about what Stallone has put together here is that he has people from all generations of action right now. We got people that we haven't seen a lot of stuff from, well, other than their work in MMA and professional wrestling, and we've seen some of their work on film, but we haven't seen them come together in something quite like this. And how many of you have been wanting to see The Expendables since it was announced? What about you people in the back? Did you want to see Expendables? Okay, that's pretty good, pretty good. Let me start to bring some of these guys out here. First, we have Terry Crews. Now, you know Terry from his show Family Crews. You know him from Idiocracy. He's going to be Paramount's middleman, Terry Crews. Actually turned me on. Okay, next we got Steve Stone Cold Austin. Are you gonna rip your shirt apart? Okay. Next, you know him as Ivan Drago. We all know him as Dolph Lundgren, the original Punisher. Let's bring him out. He's been directing films and doing stuff, but now we can see him with Stallone again. Dolph Lundgren. Now, when I visited the set of The Expendables in New Orleans, I saw a forearm that scared the living shit out of me. That forearm belonged to Randy Couture. Seriously, the scariest forearm ever. This next man, it's kind of hard to introduce. He wakes me up some mornings to tell me to put a story up on the site. I'm proud to call him my friend, Sylvester Stallone, Rocky, Rambo, Demolition Man, everything you love, The Secret of the Three Shells, Sylvester Stallone. So serious in that tie up here.
Well, you know, I thought about becoming a lawyer in case this movie doesn't work, so I think I'll loosen it up and maybe hang one of these guys with it later.
Okay, guys. When Sly called each of you up to say, I'm putting together a team to kick ass, what do y'all think? Start with you, Terry.
No, dude, he had me at hello. I'm just telling you. I'm driving on the freeway, I get a call, my agent's like, you gotta come down to Beverly Hills, you gotta meet the Sylvester Stallone. Dude, I run down there, it's a dark room, and I hear, hey, sit down. I'm looking around, I'm like, yo, whoa, where did that come? And he's like, hey, I wanna know if you wanna do this movie, right? And I'm like, yo, dude,
that's not true. No.
And I'm in. It's the manliest movie ever made.
Steve?
You know, when I first heard about the Expendables, I was down at my place in Texas, and I've been hearing some rumors, and turns out Sly had already cast all the Expendables, but I got the call when I got back to LA, and I went down and met Sly, and he described the part of Dan Payne to me, and obviously I'm the only villain here at this table. And being the villain, being the badass is something I've always enjoyed my whole life from my past career in pro wrestling. So Sly offered me the job on the spot, and I took it on the spot because I'm a pretty smart guy. And I had a lot of damn fun making this movie with these guys and kicking the crap out of them.
Now, Dolph, when you did a tour of duty with Sly a long time ago.
There'll never be another Bruce Willis.
Okay, before I continue, how fucking awesome is this?
I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
This is awesome.
Nice to see you all again. Just wanted 2 minutes to say hi and thank Sly publicly in a very public forum for including me in this great film. I've seen the film and it's huge. It's really huge. It's great, and thank you so much for having an opportunity for the three of us to be in that scene.
Well, in all fairness, the idea, I thought it was a dream come true, because I know we probably never get a chance to work together because we've all gone separate ways in our lives and our careers have gone different paths. I thought, God, I wrote a scene for myself and the governor where, like, he'd be trying to get his Hummer into a parking spot, and I'm trying to get my pickup truck, and then we get out and just punch each other in the face. I'm going, just it had to be quick because he's governor. And then I tried to think of, for Bruce, a quick scene, and he was going to play like this CIA operative. Then Bruce said, hey, stupid, why don't you put us both in the same scene? That might work. I went, wow, you ought to be a director. So he came up with this idea, and he made it all happen, so thank you very much, Bruce.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good luck with the film.
Thank you.
Bruce Willis. Okay, Dolph.
Hey, if Arnold shows up, don't let him in. I've had it with him. He's too good.
Is Arnold about to show up?
You never know, man.
Dolph, so what was it like getting that call so many years later from Sly saying, hey, I want you to be a part of this team?
Well, we beat the crap out of each other 25 years ago, and we'd love to do it again. And Sly called me and it gave me a great script and a great role, and I was in. I wanted to work with him again, and then the guys just kept piling in, one after the other. And suddenly I'm in this great cast, and I'm really grateful and really pleased to be part of it. It's been terrific.
So did it hurt more in Rocky IV or in Expendables?
Well, I guess Rocky IV maybe hurt a little more.
Oh, but I wouldn't want to do it again. You put me in the hospital for 4 days. 4 days, no thanks.
Yeah, Jet clipped me twice in the Expendables. If you write.
Yeah, they went at it. Him and Jet Li. I mean, that's a dream come true match. Talk about David and Goliath. That was fantastic.
Randy. So, you're sitting there. How did you find out about this project? How did you get involved?
Well, my agent let me know that this movie was coming together, and Sly called me in to come meet him and explain the script and the role that and how he saw it, and really, I grew up watching Rocky and Rambo. So the first Rambo was filmed in my home state of Washington. I was excited to even be considered, and the cast was just amazing.
Well, now this is a movie that was predicated on the concept, we're gonna do this for real. With each of you guys, what was the stunt or the thing that you had to do that you actually had to work up some nerve to do? What was scary on this movie for you?
Well, sometimes it's just the idea of when you're constantly colliding body on body, and the production designer forgot to make rubber like mats for bricks, so to cover the bricks. So when you see a man falling or being slammed onto bricks, it's bricks, and no matter what padding you put on, I've done this for years, the concussion, it's just overwhelming. So your body just takes a big toll. So it isn't as though you have to man up, because these guys are fearless. If you said run through fire, which they did, and jump into gravel full speed and throw a razor blade while rolling, and a building falling down on it, which he did. I mean, there is nothing they won't do. It's just the constant bombardment, the everyday, the heat, the injury, the infections, the bronchitis. These are the things that the audiences don't know about, that, the actors that suck it up, and they're willing to, they love it. I mean, it's just all part of the job. And then you try to look like you're fresh and everything is, you don't realize that fight took 4 weeks of pounding every day back and forth to the hospital. So I think the single most unusual stunt was Jason. He was in here. I was down in Brazil, and I was saying, boy, I sure would like to use a big old airship. And they said, well, we have one in the jungle. It hasn't been used in 3 or 4 years. And it was on crates. And it was 63-year-old plane covered in rust and bat guana and bird guana. And I said, could you clean it up? Because I think it'd be great for the Expendables. So we put this thing together, and it was barely running. Anyway, Jason was willing to come out of a trap door in the front, because I saw a man working on it. I said, would you be willing to stand on the nose of a plane going straight down at 200 miles an hour on a plane that hasn't flown in years? And, I can't insure you either. I said, we have to do it behind the bond company's back. He goes, when do I start? When do I start? And he did it. So, all these things, these guys are all willing to do. If you said, let a truck run over them, we go, what time?
Anybody get injured on this movie here from the guys on stage?
Well, he broke my neck.
What did he do to you?
He broke my neck.
In my
He
defense.
broke your neck?
Yes, he did. He did. He snapped it. It's my fault, but it drove a little bone spur in there. So, Steve, thank you very much. I now have this little thing with 3 screws. People say, oh, go get screwed. I said, I already have 3 times right here. Thank you.
Oh my God.
In my defense.
I thought you were happy to be a part of this.
I was happy to be a part of it, but no, it was a very physical fight scene. And one of the things I learned from Sly in working with him was just intensity. We fought for 2 days, and it was always about intensity and bringing the level up, and he wanted it to look real. And when the lead actor, when the writer, the lead actor, and the director tells you to kick the shit out of him, you kick the shit out of him. And Sly is a veteran filmmaker and an icon. If he told me to do the same thing tomorrow, I would.
Okay, so Sly.
I love this guy.
Sly.
I know, he's massive.
You know who he is.
I know,
right?
he's massive. It's just stupid. Same thing when I said to Dolph, punch me as hard as you can in the chest, and he did. Next thing I knew, I was in intensive care at St. John's Hospital for 4 days. That's stupid.
Do you like hospitals?
No, I don't like hospitals, but well,
do you have a
smell
nurse
of
fetish? You have a nurse fetish, is that it?
I tell you what, every time I do a film, and I said it before, that I don't get injured in, it really stinks. It's like, oh, Rhinestone was fun. I didn't get hurt last time my mom was shoot. So I go, you know what? Hurt me. Hurt me. If that's what it takes, cut my head off and use it for a bowling ball. I don't care.
Now, Sly, when you were coming up with this movie, you had options. You could have shot in 3D. You could have done a lot of CG. Why didn't you do any of that?
You know, I really thought about it, and I thought it'd be great to do a real live physical action film on 3D. But the more I thought about it and the constrictions and restrictions of the way you have to film, I thought it kind of like smacked of desperation. Like, I love 3D, but with us doing it, I thought, why not just do it old school in a classical way and just leave it alone? But I was tempted, and I said, no.
Okay, so you younger guys on the panel here, what did you learn from these old timers on this movie? Yes.
You know, basically, you know, being on screen with a legend that is Sly and everyone else that's involved in this movie. I mean, one thing is he was a mentor to everybody. Any question, anything you wanted to know, it was better than going through 4 years of film school, because this man, you know, he has created what the tentpole is. He created what action movies are today. And this movie being a love letter to every action movie fan. I mean, this guy could have sat in his mansion, he could have sat in his private plane and said whatever, but he got up and he said, I want to make something super special for you. And he taught, and he said, he told me he was going to make me an action star. And I thank him for that. He will always be like my mentor and always be my pop in this biz, for real. He's awesome.
All I have to say is when I was on set and I saw your arms, I really wish your arm, look at that.
The gun show is here in San Diego. I just wanted to know.
asked for it.
This is not implants, ladies and gentlemen.
I was just like, I wish your arms were my legs, you know? I mean, it's just crazy. I think your arms could walk a 300-pound man around, couldn't they?
The way Sly would come up and he would say, get the shot on those arms, get the shot. And I'm just telling you, it's the way action films were made, and it's the way to bring it back, and I just thank them. And I think everyone is appreciative. That's why this thing is the hottest thing out right now. We just thank them.
Okay, well, Randy, talk to me about the fighting that you did in this movie and what you were trying to bring into this and that you hadn't really seen in film before.
Well, I think the stunt guys and Sly especially wanted to be as realistic as possible. And I think that was obviously putting my hands on somebody and actually picking somebody up and dropping them on their head is kind of what I do. So they allowed, and it seemed like the higher I picked them up and the harder I slammed them on the ground, the happier they were. They got up smiling. So we just kept doing that, and they seemed to like it.
Now, when we were on set, you were, how do you balance shooting a movie and then training for a fight? And how did that work out for you?
Yeah. That was a challenge. I saw Steve in the gym just about every morning that we got off. My training camp for the fight after the movie didn't start till I got back actually to Vegas. And I had a full 8 weeks to get ready for that fight, but I needed to be in as good a shape as I could be coming out of that movie so the camp didn't kill me. And I managed to pull it off.
Now, like I said, your forearms just were intimidating. I mean, he had all these vertical lines just running down his arms. It just looked like pain waiting to be unleashed on people. It was brutal. Man. You have to understand, I'm a cream puff. I mean, look at me. I'm a geek, right? You know, like I'm on that set, and it's like every single person on here. Jason Statham's sitting there playing with knives, showing me all the different ways he could kill me. That's what this movie is.
We do between takes.
What's the funniest story y'all have that came out of the shooting for this movie? Because I understand there's a documentary that's been made. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, I thought if we make a documentary, because people say, what is it like to direct a movie and be in it? And it's pretty unusual, and especially in an action film, and I wanted to do it because I didn't know how many films I had left in me or whatever will happen. So this one here is a documentary, which I'm really proud of, and it's shot in a very crude fashion, kind of the way I wanted it to be, like it wasn't manicured, thought out, and we would catch what it's like to actually make an action film and all the craziness that goes along with it and the injuries and one thing after another. And what kept going on is the constant visits to the hospital until you know all the doctors and nurses by, hey, good to see you again, Marge. Well, hi, Linda, great. Got the scalpel ready, got the needle ready. So literally it was an ongoing joke that we just a constant kind of like caravan to the hospital. And in the film, the documentary, Harry, of course, is one of the stars of the documentary. Thank you very much. He sat through about 125-degree heat. Remember that, Billy? It was unbelievable.
I believe you had me watching your dogs for a bit of time on set.
It wasn't a very big dog, but he did it anyway, thank you. It was great. But he did, he persevered, and he saw how the whole creative process goes down. And it just really, I don't know if there was actually any crazy things other than just Randy kind of cackling every time he broke somebody in half. That's kind of like the real humor. He enjoyed this really tremendously. Really, every stuntman was so afraid of him after a while. Don't touch me, don't touch me. Everyone got like very high, kind of like feminine voices. Leave me alone. They started at 250 pounds, and they started going, leave me alone.
Well, that's why you shot in Brazil, because you can actually hurt people there.
You can kill people and blow the country up and then say, thank you, here, and take a monkey home, thank you. It's great.
Speaking of that, what was it like shooting in Brazil? Because I mean, I kept seeing all this footage that kept showing up on YouTube of like, it looked like throngs of people, like this audience every day when y'all were showing up. Did that cause any problems? What was that like for each of y'all?
Yeah, one time we had, for a scene we shot in town where Steve pulls up with all these huge MMA fighters that are playing Brazilian soldiers, or the Island of Belina soldiers. We had 70 bodyguards, 70, to just keep the people back, because the areas are so dangerous that on the way through the set, you would see carjackings, robberies. It was a rough joint. I mean, half the crew that worked for us at Moonlight as basically, heavy-duty cops that, they show up and on the t-shirts a skull and crossbone with a bleeding dagger. That's their insignia. Like, imagine an LA cop having a skull and crossbone. But that's what they did, and it was hardcore. Brazil's a really fascinating place. It's a country of true extremes. But we couldn't have pulled off what we did to just literally blow up huge amounts of real estate. It was great. I loved it. It's like, everyone bring their Wheaties and hot dogs. We're gonna we're having a party today. We're gonna barbecue this entire village. And they're gonna love it.
Hi, I have a comment for Randy and a question for Dolph. Randy, James Toney's been talking a lot of stuff about ground game and wrestlers in general. I just want to say, I hope you take them down, knock them out, and good luck.
We will do that.
All right, good. And Dolph, I just wanted to know if you had a Drago Balboa rematch in the movie.
Well, there's like a confrontation because Sly plays my boss, well, he was my boss in the movie. He plays it on film as well, and my character's a bit edgy. He's seen too many battles, a little too bloodthirsty, and a little too extreme. And Sly decides to get rid of me, which I don't really appreciate too much. So I get a little bit mad, and well, one thing leads to another, and it kind of has an interesting twist. Our relationship, right? So it's that was what I liked about my script.
Chill him out. Forcefully.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.
Okay, next question is for Stallone. When you weren't filming, were there any like arm wrestling matches or any competitions going on between the actors?
Oh, well, let me put it this way. I beat my hairdresser, the makeup man, and my 3-year-old. No, Kenny, let me tell you the truth. I hate that sport because I'm so bad at it. I mean, Jesus Christ, that's a sport where you're going to just get your hands smashed to the table. So I said, after that movie, I sort of retired. But you know what? Now that you brought it up, I think, come on, sit there. Kidding. Joke, Steve. Humor.
Slide. He broke your neck. Why do you want to get in an arm wrestling match with him?
Humor.
You're not really holding a grudge.
No, this bullshit.
Over here?
Yeah, I got a comment for Randy and a question for Stallone. Randy, I hope you ground and pound James Toney and smash his face and make him your bitch. And for Stallone, I saw you do a real nice armbar. Did Randy help with the armbar? Any guillotine tips or anything like that?
Well, I'll answer mine first because I know Randy wants to get really bloodthirsty with his answer. Yeah, he did. He made it very authentic. I just wanted to touch on a little bit of the modern or the new kind of fighting, which would be arm bars, but I didn't want to go like he was a real MMA specialist. Just a little technique like these guys have taught each other. But Randy applied the real technique with his battle with Steve. So, on to you and James Toney. He's kind of shy. You and James Toney.
James does all the talking. It doesn't matter. I don't need to say anything. None of that matters. On fight night, on the day, he's still the one that's got to walk up in that cage.
Now, there's a Punisher.
Excuse me for a second. I just wanted to say that you guys, all together, in the movie too, are responsible for my upbringing, more so than my parents.
Hi, son. I love ya.
My question is, with such an ensemble cast, were there any people that you wanted to get in but you didn't have time or you couldn't get them scheduled?
I explored people that were just like, I talked to Van Damme, I talked to Seagal, I talked to Chuck Norris. And, you know, there's availabilities and there's other things, extenuating circumstances like insanity that prevents things like that from happening. But other than that, you know, I reach out, I try.
How was the ego juggling on this project?
Which one?
Before you started shooting, you were talking to me about how you were concerned that maybe there would be ego battles. Did you ever have any ego battles on this set, or did you just lay down the law?
You know, they're quick. They're quick. They're kind of like, fast. It's like fast. Like, did he say that? Did I hear the F you? Did you say that? And it's like, love you, okay. Fucking asshole. Asshole. What? I said, what? I said, cashew. You said cashew? I said, asshole. You know, things like that. You never quite, but yeah, there's a little something there. Yeah, I know.
You ever tell them that you had live rounds?
Believe me. Actually, some of the fire, it's the muzzle blast from, we're using full loads and stuff that actually is not even allowed, some of it in this country. That fires out as much as 20, 25 feet, like the blast from Terry's gun will kill you. Will absolutely tear you in half. I actually have seen, actually I worked with an actor, Rutger Hauer, got blasted with one, and it literally tore a hole in him half the size of my fist. So that stuff's dangerous, real dangerous.
Next question.
My question is for Mr. Stallone. I was just wondering, do you enjoy acting better or directing?
no comparison. Acting is great, but there is so much more to do with directing. I love like just having these guys, you know, just bringing out the best of them, showing them what to do, what I've learned, how to avoid bad things, how to accentuate their good things. And it's just overall, I think it has to do with me being a total power freak. That's it, a complete control whore. That's what I think it has something to do with that. I don't know, it's genetic. My father was one, I just passed it down. But I really do love directing, more than acting. Acting I've sort of done as much as I probably can do, and I'll leave it to the young bloods to bring on the new wave of action. Thank you.
Has it really hit you that you really pulled this off yet, Sly?
No, truthfully, you know how they say like ignorance is bliss? I just wanted to get this movie made, and I just reached out, and I never had any master plan, and everyone back said, oh, this is going to be incredible, everyone's going to be so overwhelmed. It just happened, Harry, and now, if I had known it was going to be this difficult, I would probably have been a lot more intimidated by it. But I just reached out, and it all came together, but at no means, just like with Rocky, I thought I was making a B film for the second billion of drive-in movies, because drive-in movies were very big back then. I had no intention that it was ever going to be what it was at all. I thought, boy, it'd be great to get some footage on myself. And it just turned into what it was. And the same thing with this. I thought, let me just make a good action film. I had no idea that this cast would be like, people would say, how did you ever do it? The truth is, I don't know. I just reached out and it happened. If I had thought about it, I probably would have been, like I said, frozen, like, oh, this can't happen, and sulk off in the corner, like, feel sorry for Sly.
Next question.
Hi, my question is for Mr. Strizzo. We all know you're a great director, actor, writer, but my question was, what were your influences as growing up, writing and directing? To make you what you are today?
I was a late bloomer. I was very impressed, again, always with mythic action films where the underdog would rise up at great peril and perhaps save people, and it actually bled into my real life. I actually was very geekish growing up. I used to go to school with a Superman outfit under my clothes. So I guess that makes me kind of one of you guys.
Do you have any photos of you as a young boy in a Superman outfit? Because I would love to post
No,
those.
I have it in a Smokey and Bear outfit.
I would post that photo too. Absolutely.
No, but I guess the idea of just the directing part of it, that to me is really, really fantastic. And the influence would be the early kind of like sword and sorcerer type films. I love Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, Chasing of the Argonauts. I mean, crazy. I never really watched classic, like On the Waterfront, no. I was more interested in Steve Reeves and heroism. It just tapped into my insecurities or growing up. That's what I wanted to be. Thank you.
When you guys hit each other real hard by accident, did you guys take it personal?
It depends, you know, I've worked with actors that when they did that, you can't wait until they go to take two. Then you're just gonna put your foot right through his friggin' chest. I've had that. I had that on Demolition Man, believe me. I had it on Death Race 2000 with David Carradine. It's like every day he had to smash me in the face. I go, what are you, like nuts? And then finally, but I couldn't do anything because he was a star. But when it was my turn, anyway, I know that Steve and I in the first scene, and then I'll go to the other guys, we cracked our heads together. Boom! I mean, the scene is 1 second old, and there's like a stitch here, he's bleeding, and it was just, well, c'est la vie, that's it. I think if you like the other actor, no problem. If you dislike him, they're gonna pay. Opinion on that, guys?
I think you do your best not to have that happen, but I mean, accidents do happen. Sometimes you do crack somebody. Most of the time it's the stunt crew. You're rarely punching the other actors. You're punching another stuntman. And they seem to like that Sitter thing. They're crazy anyway. So.
Well, what I was surprised about, I mean, they carted about 4 or 5 snuff guys off because Randy smoked them.
It's the truth.
And then I got a big fight scene with Randy, and I'm thinking, oh man, here we go. I've made a great living as a tough guy on TV, but now I'm in with a Hall of Fame UFC guy, and it's going to be a real interesting day at the office. Randy was one of the most kindest gentlemen. I never felt a thing he did. It was unbelievable. The guy's a true pro. Cause I thought I might be wearing my jaw over here after the day.
You mean you might have gotten your neck broken?
I can't believe you didn't give him a heads up so he could get a little revenge or something.
Okay.
Okay.
I was glad
you were so gentle.
I was glad I was fighting Randy on a movie set and not an octagon.
That's for sure.
So when you think about the Rocky movies and you think about just how impactful they are, what do you think about that?
Please don't think that I'm just saying it. I am in total, constant awe. Like I'll wake up in the morning, the fog is still outside, and I walk around, I cannot believe this house, my life, my children, everything I have, I owe to this little humble character. I don't know where it came from. It just came up one day, just writing about my insecurities, and I put them in the body of a box I never knew, and I never take it lightly. That's why, guys, I was so depressed when my career was going down. I said, Jesus, if I could just do one more thing, it would just be end the Rocky series with dignity, because Rocky 5, I blew it. I made a big mistake. It's just everything, and I take all blame for it. So I said, if I could just do that one thing, and it took 7 years, because it was really tough to make a sequel to a failed film 18 years later playing a 60-year-old fighter. You're talking about tough sell? That's a tough sell. But it wasn't about fighting. It was about gracefully going on to the last portion of your life. Anyway, when that worked, I was ready to retire. I was done. I had nothing more to prove. And then I thought, maybe I should close out the Rambo, and that worked. And then I got greedy again, and here I am. Now, I don't want to quit.
Okay, we have time for one last question. Let's hear it.
Hi, my question is for everyone. What was the most difficult scene for you in the movie and why?
Okay, you first, Randy.
Well, the most difficult scene for me was the biggest dialogue that I had, which was the monologue that I had pertaining to my particular physical appearance. And I prepared because I thought that was going to be the biggest scene for me. I spent a lot of time with my coach trying to find the character and get the words off book. Showed up the first day of shooting in New Orleans, and that was the very first scene that we did. So I got no chance to kind of work into this or warm up or anything. It was the very first day. And as soon as I got on set, Sly decided to rewrite the whole scene.
Right.
So I had to learn it all over again in about an hour. So I was freaking out in my trailer going, God, how am I going to do this? Thankfully, Terry was in the trailer next to me. He spent some time reading with me and trying to get off book on that all the dialogue again. We went back on set and we got it done, and I felt like I was not only the scariest scene for me, but probably the best one for me as well.
That is true, Terry. When someone, I know it's a terrible habit I have. You know, you get out there, you go, it looked good in the trailer. And then when you see on the set, you go, God, it's too long, it's this and that. You start to rewrite it, and the actor says, I spent 6 months learning this. And that's, you want to talk about fear? That's fear. Dolph, your tough scene.
Well, I guess the hardest scene for me probably was, you know, I have this, the first time I appear in a movie, I come out and I'm crazy. The guy is totally nuts, my character Jensen, right? So I have this, Sly wrote this joke. I come out and I tell this joke. I know you were there.
Yeah, I remember the joke.
And, you know, I come out, do the first take. All right, Sly, this is pretty good. Let's try another one. And then it got worse and worse. So, you know, after about 20 takes, I was losing it. Like, it's like, what's going on here? It was like embarrassing. I was like, but you know, Sly wanted me to do it a certain way, and he was right, you know. But so anyway, we went through it, and I felt like, oh man, this is like the worst day on a film set I think I've ever had. Holy shit, my fucking career is over. Sorry, my career is over. It's like, this is it. I'm finished. So, and anyway, one thing led to another. Same night, we did some more scenes with Jet Li. Remember, we had a scene together, worked pretty good. And then the funniest part was, you know, when I came to the ADR to do my ADR for that scene, which is like the first scene in the movie, meaning, you know, you redo your dialogue again. You walk in on sound stage, we do the dialogue. Sly goes, hey, guess which take I used?
I used the first take.
Take one.
Oh, so good.
Thanks.
You know, he got it right the first time. Oh my God, that's true.
You can't let that happen.
Oh God. No, to me, the hardest thing to direct was me and Mickey, where Mickey has the absolute, the entire emotional core of the movie changes, flips on a monologue that depends on him in the mirror, no cuts, this close, and just the clock is running because we have time for 2 takes and he has to be on a plane. So it's all pressure. And I said, Mickey, no pressure. You must smash it through the lens. Not a little bit. You got to kill it. Otherwise the whole movie stinks. This is the pivotal scene. This is it. And I'm going to hold the camera on you, no cuts. You can't blow it. He goes, cool. Cool. Can I listen to Bruce Springsteen one more time? I said, no. No, you can't. Go. Boom. And he just cracked out of the park. That was it.
Steve? The toughest scene for me was I was running from a bunch of explosions. It seemed like I spent the movie running from explosions on this particular night. We're in New Orleans. And the pyro guy said, Steve, I'm just going to chase you as you're running with these explosions. Well, these weren't just any explosions, they were big explosions. And that son of a bitch hit the button a little too soon.
You did break his neck.
And I right in the split second, I was thinking to myself, you need to fall down because I think I just got blown up. And I said, this would be a good way for me to leave the movie because I just got blown up. But the only reason I didn't fall down, I figured if I fell down, I was going to fall on another goddamn bomb. So I kept running, he kept pulling the trigger on the button. I just acted like it wasn't anybody's business. And I walked over to Sly, like, Sly's acting like nothing's going on. I'm thinking, oh shit. I don't know what's going on, but I almost lost my life in this damn movie.
True. I don't say anything. I thought he's dead. I kept it in the movie too. It's unbelievable. If you didn't pull that bag up, right now you'd be doing a movie like you'd be doing Freddy Krueger, pal, forever. Oh my God. That was before.
Oh, so that's why you broke his neck.
Actually, it was after the past. It was after. That's why.
Terry?
No, I have to, ditto Steve with the firepower that was involved in this movie. I mean, the explosions were freaking real. I mean, on the set, a fart is the biggest thing I'd ever experienced. So when this, I mean, that's
what kind of fart?
Yeah.
What sort of fart did you have?
You should be around me, though. I'm trying to tell you.
No, it sounds like a
burritos for lunch. I'm trying to tell you.
God.
But the thing was, is that the stuntman was like, dude, there's no such thing as movie fart. This is real. And I was like, yeah, right. Man, it was that bomb scene when we were going off, and he was like, you gotta throw this. Stallone's like, you gotta throw this sucker, we gotta get down. Yeah. And I'm playing like, I'm ready. Man, that sucker went down.
Oh, I remember that, you're right.
That bomb, he shoots it and boom! It's in my face, I swear. My beard was smoking.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh my God, that was the scariest thing I've ever experienced.
You blew up in a helicopter,
Because the force went right through my chest, the flame, the heat, the whole thing.
He had a full head of hair before that scene.
You were like, you were thinking of that opening sequence in Hurt Locker, right?
Totally. So that was my scene.
All right, well, I want to thank y'all guys for coming out. I think the audience wants to thank y'all for coming out, right?